Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and thank you as always for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and today folks we are doing another pick-a-card reading, and as you can see I have 3 different decks. I am going to use each of the decks for each of the readings, and this is going to be a layered reading like the most recent one. I want to do another one immediately after the previous one because I sort of want to anchor the method for us together, and so I'm going to use these 3 decks, each of them in each of the readings. The question for today is how they really feel about you. I am thinking more of a romantic undertone here. I am also thinking possibly in the face of challenges, but I am thinking of another person and how they feel about you. So of course this is up to you, and you'll need to tune into the person you want to resonate with for this reading. I am going to do 4 different readings, but I'm going to use the same method for each of them. So like I said, I'm going to be using each of the decks in each of them. So I'm going to do reading number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And I'm going to do them in this order. And as always, you will find the timestamps in the box, in the description box. So feel free to pause the video if you need to tune into this person you want to resonate with for this reading. Let's see how they feel about you, what they think of you. Okay, so here we are with reading number 1, and I'm going to start with the largest deck here, which is the deck of the Game of Hope. And we are going to do 3 lines of 5. 1 line with each of the decks. And I'm going to start with the larger one and then go to the next one and then the smallest one. So let's go ahead and deal out a line of 5 and see what they think of you in the first place. Okay, so here is our first line of 5. And when I look at this line, the first impression that I get is that they think you're very smart and they think you are powerful. I think they also admire you. The key is the card of intelligence and brightness. The clouds can be a bit of a difficult card. The lily tends to be a bit of a serious card here, and it's also focused on career and life path. So it's clear that this person thinks that you are committed to your priorities and that you have a sense of priority in life. You're more or less serious about what you're about and what your life is about. And then we have the beautiful star, which is all around wish fulfillment and faith and inspiration. And so with this card, I feel that they admire you. And what really supports that as well is the bear, because the bear is the card of authority and influence. It is a leader. And so with the star, I think this is someone who looks up to you. They appreciate you. They admire you. They think you're in control of your life. They feel you're in control of your goals and that you have a clear sense of priority. Now, I left the clouds a little bit out so far because the clouds can be a bit of a challenging card. So I think with the presence of the clouds in the line, I think there can be something of an issue between the two of you, maybe a bit of tension, maybe a bit of uncertainty and doubts. And so it's possible that this person is thinking about you as well. They think about you, they think about how smart you are, they think about, how you're in control of your life and your goals and how you aspire to big things. I also think this is someone who likes you. I think the clouds can be a bit of an issue here, a bit of tension, a bit of uncertainty and doubts, but when we look at the rest of the line, they appreciate you. So they may want something with you, a connection with you, or a deeper connection with you. And certainly with the lily, it can mean a commitment. When it comes to personal relationships, the lily is about long-term connections, the idea of growing old together, building a life together. So I think this is someone who is wondering if there is such a possibility with you, if they might share their life with you. And of course, this would apply in the context of love and in a relationship. I think they would like that. Certainly the star and the bear supports that. So I think this is a big deal of a potential relationship if it's not already in play, and it can, it can be an important relationship for you. This can be like a soulmate or a long-term connection. And with the key and clouds earlier in the line, this pair can bring up the idea of how do we make this work for the long term? How do we make it work in terms of a deep connection, a deep commitment? So it's very clear that this person admires you. They think you're strong, you're smart, you're empowered, you're a boss, you have presence, you have influence, and you have authority. And I think they really admire that about you. I don't know if it's possible that they feel intimidated by this. I have to say this is a possibility because of the clouds. Maybe they feel that you're kind of dominant. They feel that, maybe there is a bit of a distance because of this kind of admiration. Sometimes admiration creates a distance, where someone feels they can't really approach you because of your sense of strength. And that is a possibility. But again, I feel that it is a bit of a big deal, but it doesn't have to be a very big deal. It can be downplayed depending on the dynamics in your relationship. But certainly this first cut here, very clear that they think you're smart, you're powerful, and they admire you, they appreciate you, and they may want a more serious connection with you. It's also a great line for the job, by the way. This is someone who wants to work with you. They think that you've got what it takes. They think you're smart, and they think you're up to the job. I think there's a lot of appreciation here. So very, very positive all around. Let's move on to the next line of 5 using the second deck and see what this deck brings to the table in terms of what they think about you, how they feel about you. This was my suspicion. This was indeed my suspicion. I felt because of the clouds there could have been an issue. And here we have the snake. Again, I feel there is a bit of a distance factor at play in the relationship, and the snake and tower really brings this into the picture very clearly. The snake can be a very tricky card. It can be about deceit and dishonesty and cheating in relationships. And that could have been an issue. I can't dismiss that for some of you. But the main energy that I'm picking up from this card and this card pair in light of the first line is that there was an issue. And this could have separated you. And I felt that there was a bit of a distance, between the two of you. Maybe it could have come from the issue itself, or it can come from the sense of, they admire you, they appreciate you, and they feel that maybe they're not up to your level. All of these possibilities can come through equally with these cards. So there could have been an issue. And the thing about the tower is that it could have been something from the past or something that's been going on for a while. And the tower is also a card of isolation. So I really feel there could have been a bit of an issue here settling into the relationship. What's interesting is the snake in light of the letter. The letter is a communication card. And when we look at it in contrast with the snake, which is a silence card, I have another angle that tells me that there could have been a separation. Maybe you fell out of communication, an issue came up, and it sort of created a bit of a wedge in the relationship. What is really nice is the stork and child after that. So the stork and child is actually the classic combination of pregnancy. This can be something that comes up for you. And I have to say that because the lily has to do with the longer term and a serious relationship, possibly family and things like that, this is an option for some of you. But again, it doesn't tend to be the most immediate interpretation, especially if it's just 2 cards and if the context is open. But what I do think is happening here is that you are back in touch, or there is a new avenue of communication with this person that sets off or is kicked off after a time of isolation, distance, and separation. And so when we look at this line in the context of the question, it sounds like this is someone who wants to be in touch with you again. They want to turn the page on this issue, on this situation that happened, and they want a new chance, a new opportunity to be in touch and to be in communication with you. So from this line, we see that this is someone who wants to reach out. I think that the snake can cause this person to hesitate. I think they're really calculating what it means to be in touch again, especially if the issue was a bigger deal. Now, suppose it wasn't an issue. Suppose it's just a person not being able to break through a barrier to get closer to you, like we saw here. Like there is a bit of a wedge because of this admiration, this appreciation that intimidates them a little bit. Well, we see that coming through here as well, where they're not sure how to reach to you. I think they feel like you're a bit up there, you're at the top, and they're not. And what is nice about the rest of the line is that there is a breakthrough. So the silence, the holding back, the shyness is broken through, and we see here there is like a release. The stork is very much a relieving card because it shakes things up, and it is a movement and action card, and there is a nice progression in the cards from left to right. And the key is the letter in the central position here that points to communication and a new opportunity in this sense, a new possibility to be in touch and to have a more open communication moving forward. Remember that the snake is a card of silence. So this is someone who feels intimidated possibly, or not really sure how to reach out, but this is broken through, and there is at least a desire to be in touch. And I think there is a very good chance that you do end up having a more open communication moving forward, after this phase of hesitation or shyness and maybe intimidation. So this is someone who desires a communication channel with you, and I'm looking at the top line. This is someone who wants to be with you. They want, they think you're great. They think you're smart, that you're powerful, you're empowered, you're inspiring, and they want to be, they want to have a connection with you. So I think these are sweet cards, and they say really nice things about you too. Let's move on to the third line of 5 and see if this throws a wrench into everything we've read, or what else is it going to bring to the table. Okay, and this is the mystical Lenormand. This is the Titania's fortune cards. I didn't mention this earlier. Oh wow, these are challenging cards. They did throw a wrench in all of this. I really pick up here the issues that have gone by. Almost each of these cards is challenging. The Road is the card of change, and these cards here are challenging. So this tells us that there was an issue with this person. It's possible that they've been having issues as well, and that they are going through changes. Let's take these cards in turn. We have the Mouse, the Coffin, Clouds, and the Whip. So obviously these are some pretty challenging cards. And the Coffin is clearly an ending. The Coffin brings to a close a certain chapter, and I think this aligns really well here with the Snake and Tower. So there could have been a loss. Yeah, something really was lost, something fell out, and with the Clouds and Whip, there is a challenge. I think it's also possible that there's a confrontation. The Whip is pretty opposite to the Snake. The Snake pulls back and is silent and shies away. The whip is upfront and direct and really aggressive and in your face. Now, what I think can come through, and there's a number of scenarios, of course, is that the coffin really highlights this phase where things were stalled and this person is holding back, and possibly things were lost or an opportunity was lost. The clouds and whip really brings out whatever was held back out into the open. And this can mean a confrontation, it can mean an argument, and it can mean differences that come through. Now, I have to say that not all is lost because of this line. I mean, we do have some beautiful cards in the top line, but what I do think is happening is that it seems that there is an unresolved issue that has been hanging, and this needs to be resolved. This is going to be in the way of the relationship if it's not brought out into the surface. And we have the clouds twice, which is a very psychological card, and it's really focused on thought. So there can be a lot of thinking around this and a lot of, I would say, confusion and cloudiness. And it's very clear to me that there is a strong holding back energy in the relationship, and they feel held back. They don't know what to do about this. This is an issue that has been weighing on them. And although the relationship has a lot of potential and they feel really strongly about you, they admire you, you're up there, you're smart, you're amazing, etc., there is a strong energy of holding back that really needs to come out. Now, it's interesting to look at what's happening here versus what's happening here. We have here the more silent cards. Even though we have the clouds in both, it doesn't really affect that energy. But we have here the holding back. We have the coffin. On this side, we have the snake and the tower, which is isolation, the mouse, which is, hesitation, wobbliness, and all of that. And there is also the road, which points to parting, along with the tower. So we see in this side of your 3x5 lines, there is the holding back, the distance, the separation. What we see on this side of the lines is action, movement, and release. We have the star on this side as well. And we have the clouds and whip. And let me tell you, I think they bring helpful energies to the reading, because whatever was stuck becomes unstuck. This is really, really clear in the cards and in the progression of the cards. There is a holding back, there is an isolation, and then here things can come back into play. I love the star on this side of the lines, and I actually appreciate the clouds and the whip on this side of the lines too, because they help shake out this confusion. It needs to be talked about, it needs to be brought out, and it's really nice to see the stork in the center of all this and the opportunity for a new beginning with the child and the healing that comes from the star. So overall, there's the energy between you and this person is pretty loaded, I have to say. It's a serious connection, and they have a lot of appreciation towards you. This is powerful. This can be a really serious connection, but something went off at some point, and it caused a stalling in the relationship and like a pulling back that has created some kind of stuckness. But there is an opportunity to bring this out in the open, and there is an opportunity to resolve it. Now, what's tricky about these cards is that I can't really tell you who's gonna do the letter. So the letter is, notice that it's in the center of what can be seen as a 3x5. It's in the center of this whole layout, and it is the key thing. It's the key card, a very central card. It points to communication. So this communication, it opens up the issue. Notice that it's on top of the coffin, and then we have this whole thing here. where there's the release and the stork. And I can't tell you who's going to initiate the communication. Maybe it's the other person, maybe it's yourself, or maybe there's just like a chance kind of event where both of you figure in a certain context and communication becomes possible. But what is really hopeful in the layout is that what was held back can be expressed. The wedge that was separating the two of you can be closed, and there is an opportunity to renew contact and to renew communication and to bring things out into the open, and healing is possible, and a new chapter is ahead. So I have to say, this is a pretty loaded spread. I mean, it started off sort of nice and shiny, and then as we built the layers, we got deeper into what's going on here, which is great. And, you know, we see that there is a need to get to the bottom of an issue, and that this is what is key, and this is the opportunity, and this is probably what will happen as well for you. So very powerful reading. The relationship has potential. There is something that is weighing it down, and this is what needs to come out into the surface, and it hopefully will, and you'll have an opportunity to resolve the differences and work through them. So let me know who you thought of for this reading. Let me know your thoughts and comments. I'm looking forward to them. Let me know what you feel has been held back. I'd be curious to know as well, and hopefully you'll have an opportunity to bring it out into the open. So thank you so much for tuning in to this reading. If you like Lenormand, if you like this very, very special method, I have lots of resources for Lenormand. You might know that I'm one of the few people who offers an end-to-end master course to master the practice, and I have a lot of resources as well. All of it is linked in the description box. I invite you to have a look through, to explore the website as well. And of course, I offer private readings as well. So if you want something like that, I have a whole offering in that area as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. As always, very best of luck with this. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, welcome to reading number 2. I am going to do a line of 5 with each of the decks, and I'm going to do them in this order. Starting with the largest deck, this is the Game of Hope deck, and then moving on to Titania's Fortune cards, and then the Mystical Lenormand. So we're going to do lines of 5 with each of the decks, and of course my decks are shuffled always between readings, and we will take them in turn to see what this person thinks of you, really, how they feel about you. Okay, here is our first cut with the Game of Hope cards, and these are pretty similar to the ones that I saw in the previous line, but in the previous reading. But the snake here is curious. I think this can bring up some envy into the line. We have the beautiful star, we have the beautiful key, and the anchor and bear are both very powerful cards. So I think they feel that you are very strong. I think because of these two together, the anchor and bear, they might feel that you're a little bit standoffish and also possibly a bit intimidating. I think the anchor can create boundaries, especially as the first card, because it's almost like a first impression, like the first line, let's say, when they are in front of you in a metaphorical sense, if you know what I mean. So I feel that there is this standoffish energy a little bit that can come through the anchor and bear, because they're both equally strong cards. But they also suggest confidence, power, and a sense of authority. And also the star softens this a little bit. The star is all about inspiration and faith and wish fulfillment. And so I feel that they could really aspire to be like you. And with the snake, there is a bit of an element of envy. And I say a bit because we have two very bright cards on either side of the snake. Otherwise, if we had more challenging cards or even neutral cards, the more toxic aspect of the snake would come through more. But the star and key are very bright cards. They are wish fulfillment cards, and that's why I feel that there can be a bit of envy here, a bit of admiration, and a bit of, wanting to be like you a little bit. But really, with the star in the middle, I think this is someone who appreciates you genuinely. Like we said, they aspire to be like you. They look up to you in some way. And I also think with the snake and key, they think you're very smart and you're very sharp. So there can be a bit of a distance here between the two of you. The snake can, create that, that distance through the envy element. But there's also the anchor that creates a bit of an obstacle of sorts. I feel that it is, there is this standoffish energy that comes through. Or it just can feel like they feel that you're not easily approachable, even though they want to, they want to, to be closer to you, or, because of the star, they admire you and so on. But I feel that the anchor creates like a bit of a fence of sorts, a bit of a boundary. It feels like they feel that you're not easily approachable. And the snake can really add to that. And with the key, maybe this is someone who's trying to find a clever way to get around, the solid energies that we're seeing here, and to get maybe closer to you. But again, I feel the envy element is clear through the cards. There can be this admiration, and at the same time, there is a bit of envy in the back of that. But overall, they feel you are pretty amazing. They think you shine bright, you're powerful, you're inspiring, and they definitely think that you're smart. These are very bright and powerful cards in terms of character, in terms of intelligence and capability. So very clearly coming through. Let's move on to what Titania's line might add to that. We have letter in here, and add to this initial line of 5. Okay, so these are some cards that I think speak for themselves. And notice that we have 2 keys coming on top of each other here. So the ring and heart is the standout combination, right? This is a combination of love. And I am more or less assuming that this is an intimate or personal relationship, but it doesn't have to be. But for the time being, let's look at these cards as this. So the ring and heart is definitely a deepening connection. It's really powerful to see them together as opposed to seeing them, each on their own. When they come together, really this connection is unmistakable. The house in the line is about intimacy and closeness. It can also represent a group of people or a situation of intimacy. But it's interesting that it also has a boundary aspect, a bit like the anchor. And we're seeing them next to each other. And together, these would be about your foundation and where you stand. So I really feel that they might have a hard time approaching you. But in the line here, the house brings family, closeness, intimacy, privacy. It's everything that's inside. And with the ring and heart, this is definitely a deepening relationship. And the rider and key is a wonderful message. The green light, the go ahead, the okay. So there can be some forward movement here, and we have a double key in your lines. So when it comes to the question that we're asking, how do they feel about you? Well, this is someone who feels really strongly about you. This is someone who desires you, who probably loves you. And I think they want to tell you. Notice that we have the snake and the rider on the same line, on the same vertical column line. And they're actually kind of opposite in energies, because the snake is a card of silence and the rider is a card of proactive movement, and it's also a messenger and news. So this is vocal and this is silent. And we see them in contrast. So again, I am seeing that push-pull, or this person is not so sure how to approach you. Again, the anchor and house are again, establishing a sense of privacy and boundaries. And so I feel that this person is not sure how they want to move things forward with you. But it's very obvious that they desire you and they desire a relationship with you and they desire intimacy and closeness with you. So these are some pretty bright messages, especially if you're thinking of love. Now, in other contexts, like I said, we don't have to strictly look at the cards as in relation to love. You might have chosen someone else. This is still a very positive message. This is someone who appreciates you. They think you are capable. They think you can be committed. And they might secretly envy you in any other context because of the snake. And they will probably say that to you in one way or another. So the rider, in this sense, can represent a number of possibilities depending on what it's about. So for example, if it's about a job, then you will get the job. If it's about an invitation, then you will get the invitation. You know, it depends on your specifics, but what the rider does is it brings positive feedback. On its own, it normally brings positive feedback, but look at, you know, the beautiful cards that we have here. We have the key and the heart, so it really answers your hopes. And we have the star and another key at a diagonal. So the thing is really the snake, and this is a situation where this person is maybe thinking about the right time or the right approach to bring you into the loop. Okay, and that's in any context other than love. But when it comes to love, it's very clear that this is someone who desires you and who is thinking strongly about you. You know, the star on top of the heart is pretty powerful. This can be a really deep connection and almost a soul connection. And we have two keys. There's a lot of chemistry. And I think also there is a sense of almost fantasy, like this is someone who is thinking about you a lot. You know, so they desire you. They want this to happen. So these are some really beautiful cards that speak very, very clearly, I have to say. Let's draw the third line and see what the mystical deck is going to bring to the table to tell us what this person thinks of you, how they feel about you. So far, it's really a bit deeper than, you know, just like, oh, I'm thinking about you. No, it's like I am, you know, I'm feeling all of this. Wow. Wow, these are powerful cards. So we have another house with the key. We have the bear in the middle, which is another powerful card. We have two bears, and we have the beautiful clover, the beautiful flowers, and a lovely ship, which really complements the rider and the forward movement. Now, the clover is a wish fulfillment card. The flowers is a wish fulfillment card. So these two together are obviously about wish fulfillment, and they're also really good for attraction. The flowers is great with flirting and the fun part of love. It can be physical and it can be very powerful in this sense. The bear is a very powerful card. I take the bear and heart and the bear and ring as the big love kind of message. And on top of that, we have the star. So, you know, we could be talking a really serious, committed relationship here, or at least this is how they feel about you. This is what they want. The ship and house is an interesting combination. Now, it can normally be taken as a move, but it's worth noting that the house figures on the other side of the ship. So the way I'm seeing this in the context of the question is that there needs to be, something needs to be crossed in order to arrive to the house and the security and closeness and intimacy that is represented by the house. So it works really well with the rider, and the idea that there needs to be, something needs to be crossed or achieved in order to arrive to this place of security in the relationship so that it happens. These can be changes. This can be overcoming the initial shyness, possibly the initial envy, but really this is someone who wants something solid with you, okay? The house is solid, the bear is solid, we have the anchor and bear here, and we have a lot of wish fulfillment cards throughout the lines. The clover and flowers is a beautiful message. You know, this is all about happiness, joy, celebration, a lot of flirting, a lot of fun, you know. So this is someone who is attracted to you, I think, on a number of levels, who desires you on a number of levels, and who is serious about this. I think this is someone who is willing to move, make changes for you. I think this is someone who wants to settle with you, move in together, you know, really establish something strong, not just for now, but likely for the longer term as well. So it's really hard not to see the message of these cards. This is someone who wants a relationship with you. And if you're already in a relationship with this person, this is someone who is serious about the relationship with you and wants to take it to the next level. And if you're already there, then family and you know, that sense of commitment is in the cards as well. So these are some pretty clear and vocal, obvious cards that we're seeing for the relationship. Now again, if this is not about love, although honestly I think it is, it's very powerful for any other relationship. There is a strong commitment, there is a strong sense of confidence in you, faith in what you're about, faith in your capabilities, whatever these may be or whatever relevant ones are for the question or for your focus. This is someone who is going to have you on board. This is someone who's going to move forward and give you the positive feedback. You know, they want you involved. They want you to be part of this, the job or the project or whatever it is outside of a love relationship. We have lots of cool dynamics in the columns, you know, lots of positive messages. If we looked at the columns as well, 2 keys in a house, this can mean property. You know, this is great for money and investments. We have the snake, rider, and ship. So clearly this is someone who's going to overcome these initial silence, this initial hesitation. Even if it's envy, you know, we see that they're able to overcome it. And really the central line here with the central cards of each of the lines of 5 is beautiful for love. And so is this one, actually, a big relationship, an important one, a commitment, and lots of joy and happiness here. I think also the intimate aspects of the relationship are pretty positive, you know, very bright. This can be a deeply fulfilling connection. And remember, we are asking how this person feels about you. And so they really feel attracted to you. They feel there's a lot of chemistry. And this is someone who desires you for, you know, for life, I would say. You know, it's serious. Their commitment and their desire is serious. So a beautiful set of cards here. Let me know what you made of them. Let me know how, you know, they applied in the context of the relationship that you focused on. And I'm looking at some, just before I wrap up, I'm looking for a bit of advice maybe to give you on the way out. I would say, you know, a sense of openness. I would say, oh, it's really nice to see the key with that. Yeah, the key, you know, like unlocking. Right. So the standoffish energies that we saw, you know, this kind of boundary that you set, I would say, if you want the relationship, of course, I would say try to soften that side a little bit. You know, see if you can soften this, maybe a harder facade that you might have, and try to, you know, open up a little bit to this relationship, make some space for it, maybe drop some defenses and flow with it. You know, it's interesting because the snake might also represent you in this column here that we were saying that there's this overcoming, something needs to be crossed. Well, it can also apply to you where maybe you're, you know, you're putting out a sense of standoffishness, or you protecting yourself and things like that. And maybe that's what you want to sort of, you know, drop a little bit, you know, soften the guard, you know, make space, as they say, be willing to be a bit vulnerable. Yeah? So these are some sweet cards, sweet messages here. Let me know how you like them. Let me know what relationship you focused on. And of course, if you have any clarification questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll go over them soon enough. So thank you so much for tuning in. As always, if you like Lenormand, if you appreciate this very unique and wonderful method, you might know that I offer one of the few end-to-end courses and programs to master this practice. I also have a whole lot of other resources for that. And of course, I offer private readings if that's what you're interested in. So have a look through the links in the description box, leave me your comments, and until next time, thank you so much for watching as always, and take very good care of yourself. Okay, here we are with reading number 3, and we are going to start with the big deck, the Game of Hope deck, and then we'll move on to Titania's Fortune cards, and then the Mystical Lenormand. And with each of the decks, we're gonna draw a line of 5, and we will look in layers at how this person feels about you, what they really think about you. So let's go ahead and deal out the line of 5, starting with the Game of Hope. Okay, these are some interesting cards. I have to say, I've been getting the Bear and Star across several readings. Of course, I shuffle my deck thoroughly between the readings and then just shuffle a little bit at the beginning of each one. But this seems to be a recurrent energy right now. This is obviously very bright. We have the beautiful clover. We have the beautiful star. Each of these cards are wish-fulfilling cards. And obviously the letter is about communication. So this is someone who wants to tell you something. And what they want to tell you looks like it might be exactly what you want to hear. The road is interesting, I have to say, in this line. The road is a card of change, and it can be a card of choices. Sometimes it's about being at crossroads. But it really is surrounded by some powerful, bright cards. So I would take it to mean as wanting to move forward, wanting to go ahead with whether it's a plan or with certain ambitions or aspirations, or wanting to pursue the relationship. The Bear makes everything big. It makes everything important. And with the Star, this can be about inspiration and aspirations. It's also possible that this person admires you and that they desire you. They have big hopes for the relationship. And so when we see this line overall, taken together, starting from the letter into the rest of the line, this is someone who seems to be ready to really express their care, their interest, their appreciation, and their admiration of you. And they want to move forward with the relationship. They want to pursue this. They want to take it to big heights, I would say, because of the Bear and Star. So in the context of love, let's say, and the cards are not specifically about love and romance, but it depends on the person you focused on for the reading. In the context of love, the cards are really bright. This is someone who wants to make a commitment, who has big dreams and high hopes for the relationship. And I think they're ready to express it. I don't think they're going to be holding back. And they really want to, they want to communicate this to you. Outside of love, in other relationships, the cards are also very supportive. This is someone who thinks highly of you. They think you're up to it. They think you're, whether it's for a job, for example, they think you're totally great for the job. And they think you're capable of a lot. They think you're strong and inspiring. Others might see you as successful, as a role model. So these are some really powerful cards. You could also be awarded something. So this is someone who feels that you deserve some kind of appreciation, some kind of award. Maybe they feel that you should be certified, or, like having like an official kind of level that's associated with your capabilities. So any way you look at these cards, they are very bright cards, and there is a key card here, the letter, that points to the idea of communicating. So this is someone who wants to express this to you. Also, more generally, this is someone who wants to get closer. So communication, wanting to be in touch, wanting to reach out. I also think this is someone who wants to know more about you. They're curious, there's like interest and curiosity into what you're about. So they're really nice cards, and they're really sweet cards. And definitely this person wants to go places with you. They want to invite you to go out, maybe to explore places in a quite literal way. They want to pursue this path with you, this path of the relationship, and they want to take it to deep levels, to big levels, to high levels. Any way you want to look at the Bear and Star, it's really about the big stuff, the inspiration, and I would say a strong, deep connection. So very, very bright cards. Let's move on to Titania's deck and add another layer on top of this and see what else they think of you, how else they feel about you. Wow, interesting card. So again, I'm seeing the key a lot, and the heart has come up a few times already. So very bright cards, and obviously the letter, the heart, points to this interest and this appreciation. And I feel that with the letter, it really confirms what we saw earlier, that this is someone who wants to communicate. And actually the Rider is another communication card. The letter, Rider, and key is very positive news, very positive feedback. And it really aligns with what we already saw in the top line. The Rider is a bit like the Road, and it's a bit like the letter. It is a card of messenger, it's a card of forward movement, and with the heart and key, very clearly this is about feelings, positive feelings, and interest. Now you're probably wondering about the Whip and Stork. Well, I'm not so sure the Whip and Stork are negative here, especially the Whip. It tends to be a challenging card. It tends to point to conflict and disagreement. But it's really not my intuition about what the Whip is about in this line. Instead, I feel this person is in a rush. I feel there's a lot of movement cards. There's the Road in the middle of the top row, and we have the Rider, and we have the letter like right as the first card, and the Clover tends to be a bit fast-paced. So what I'm seeing is that this is someone who's really ready to to speak up about how they feel about you, and they also want to get moving. They want to do things. They don't want to wait for the right time or the perfect time, or for circumstances to be ideal. I think this is someone who really wants to express how they feel about you now. They want to move forward in their relationship now. They might even be a bit rash, and they might even jump the gun. But I think they're very excited, and I think they really want to tell you how they feel about you, and they want to get moving right away. The Stork is a card of change and movement, and it aligns well with the Road, aligns well with the Rider. And like we said, the Whip is challenging in this sense. But when we take the line together in view of the cards in the line and the other cards, I don't think the Whip is as much of a conflict card as it might normally be. Instead, I really feel this is someone who is in a hurry to make a change, to express their interest, to get moving in their relationship, to push things forward in whatever context applies to you specifically. Now, assuming it's about challenge, I don't think it is, then I think this challenge is easily resolved, and I feel this is someone who is willing to move past the obstacles pretty smoothly. So I feel that this is someone who is not holding on to resentment. If there was an issue, I think it can be easily resolved. Normally, I would have liked the Whip to be earlier in the line, like the cards reversed in their order, but I'm not so sure it it's affecting in a challenging way as it normally would. I really feel that there is fast movement. You know, this person is in a hurry, in a rush. They want to move past the obstacles. They want to move forward in the relationship. They want to express what they have in mind, which is positive, and move forward. But what also helps is the star in this side of the line. So the star is a healing card, and it's a card of resolution and forgiveness. And so when we see it on the other side of the whip, it does help overturn any challenges that might be brought by the whip. So that too is a possibility. And the thing about the key and whip is that there is a strong sense of being focused on solutions and resolving the issues. So again, I feel that this is someone who moves fast. They're not hanging on. You know, they're not stuck. They are quick to move past the issues. They want to put these issues behind them and move forward and embrace the positive aspects. So honestly, I feel this is someone who's really enthusiastic, very excited, very enthusiastic about you, feels really strongly about you, appreciates you, cares about you, you know, and is focused on the solution, willing to forgive, willing to move on, you know, into the more exciting parts of the relationship and what's ahead in the relationship. So these are some pretty cards. Let's move on to the last deck here, the Mystical Lenormand, and see what is the additional layer that comes on top of these cards to tell us more about how this person feels about you. Let's go ahead, deal these cards. Wow, so these are bright cards as well. The Tower and Mountain stand out as a little bit off or odd with the energies, but we'll see how we we work them into the reading. The Star shows up here. This is the Star of the Mystical Lenormand, and the star is in the background here. And this is the Ring of the Mystical Lenormand. It's kind of small relative to the card, but it's brought by this lovely bird against the mirror. So obviously the star and ring together is a desire for a relationship. And it's another confirmation of how this person wants to be together. The Garden is a card of place. And in this context, that's interesting. I'm seeing this column. I like this. This is someone who wants to invite you out on a date, or they want to get together. It certainly works really well with the road. We said this person wants to go places, explore stuff together, and the Rider as well. So it really comes through with the Garden, especially with these cards in the column. The Tower is interesting here. The Tower can be associated with a sense of solitude and isolation, because it's like, being in the top of the tower away from everything around and at the bottom. But it's also a card of the past and the long term. So when I look at the Tower with these cards, I feel this is someone who is up for a long-term commitment, and they're up for discovering the relationship over time and wanting to really make it happen. The Mountain is curious. The Mountain can be an obstacle. Like we said, there could have been an issue, but again, I feel that they want to break through that, and there is a stork on top of it. But the Mountain can also represent a place abroad, and so I'm wondering if with the stork and the road and the Rider, there's quite a few movement cards in the three lines. Maybe this is, again, someone who wants to go places with you. They want to travel with you, and explore options and go beyond the normal day-to-day. I really feel they want to break out of the normal boundaries of life and just go and do things. But the Mountain can also represent an obstacle or a blockage of sorts. But again, I feel with the Whip here, they want to break through that. And also the earlier cards really support the Ring here and the relationship. So I feel that this is someone who is serious about the relationship. They they want to explore this for sure. They want to go places with it. And, they want to do it now. And a very strong message here through wanting to get together, inviting you on a date or going out. Let's see the other columns here. Yes, moving past the past, and this is very bright as well. Opening up this path and moving forward in it. And the bear and whip can be a powerful combination of conflict, and it can come up in the relationship because of the ring. But again, when we see the star, stork, and mountain, we're really seeing an overcoming of the obstacles and overcoming of the challenges. And I really feel this very strongly in these lines. This is someone who's willing to move past it all. They're not hanging on. They're dropping their resentment. They want to be on the other side of this. They want to be in the place where this is all part of the past and it has no weight anymore. And it's just you and the person and being able to explore the relationship. So again, some very bright cards that are supportive towards the relationship. This is someone who feels strongly about you and they're willing to move past the differences, the obstacles, into a sense of freedom and a sense of really just enjoying and exploring the relationship. Now, I've read this in the context of a love relationship, but it is equally positive in other relationships, depending on what you chose to focus on for the reading. So definitely the key in the center of all this really shines a positive light on the reading as a whole. And we also have a couple of stars. We also have the clover. So this is someone who has good faith in you. They think you can solve problems. They think you're smart. They think you've got what it takes. They're interested in you. And in other contexts, the idea of competition can come up with the bear and whip. And in this sense, it's really about competing for a position of sorts. And so I feel that this person feels that you're up to this and they feel that you're pretty strong and that you won't back down and that you've got what it takes. I also think they feel that you can overcome obstacles. So again, you can climb up and get around and confront, so that's interesting because the key is in the center and the key is a card of resourcefulness. So I feel that this person feels that you will find a way. No matter what the issue is, they trust you to find a way. So these are bright cards. The relationship moves forward. This is someone who wants to move forward. This is someone who does not want to spend time on the issues. If the issues need to come up, that's fine. But I think this is someone who just wants to get past them and enjoy the relationship and have fun. And on top of that, they have a lot of appreciation for you. They admire you. They think you're smart. And they really want to tell you that. Communication is a pretty central thing, and also movement and going places, meetings, gatherings. They stand out in these lines pretty strongly. So this is someone who wants to be with you, wants to be in touch with you, wants to express their thoughts to you. They want to resolve the issues if there are any outstanding issues, and they really want to move forward and make things happen, go places, have fun, and get things done, wherever that applies. So a beautiful set of cards, very supportive for the relationship. They care, they are interested, they appreciate you. I don't see, are you held back by this relationship in any way? Do you feel that maybe some of these issues, how easily are you willing to get past the issues if there were any in your context? Are you ready to move past them and to just forgive and move on, or are you a bit more stuck on the situation, or you want to figure it out a bit more before you move forward with this kind of freedom? Let me know in the comments. I would really like to know your thoughts. But I sure hope you reciprocate, because I think this is someone who is focused on fun, and who's willing to, takes things in stride and willing to move past the the obstacles. So it sounds like a really nice spirit here, someone who's willing to flow and move forward. So let me know how you like these thoughts, these ideas in these lines. I'm really looking forward to your comments. And if you're interested or are curious about this practice called Lenormand, which is an amazing method and card deck, I have lots of resources for you in the description box. You might know that I'm one of the few people who offers an end-to-end master course for this method, and I have a whole lot of other resources as well. And of course, I offer private readings if that's what you're interested in. I have another separate menu for that you can have a look at. Everything is in the description box. Have a look through. And until our next reading together, as always, thank you so much for watching and take very good care of yourself. Okay, here we are with reading number 4. Welcome, reading number 4. We are going to do 3 lines of 5, starting with the Game of Hope deck. And next will be Titania's Fortune cards, and then the Mystical Lenormand. So we're going to draw a line of 5 with each deck, and we're going to layer the answer to the question, how does this person feel about you? What do they think about you? And in the process, we'll also have insights into the relationship. So let's go ahead and deal out your first line of 5. Very interesting what I am seeing here. This is the first and only reading where the relationship looks to be coming to an end. Now, of course, this is not the only line. We have 2 more lines, so we're going to take them in turn. But it is really the order of the cards that is telling here. We have the house in the center. So this can be a situation where you have a place in common. Maybe this is someone you already live with. But we have a strong combination for a relationship here. We have the anchor and the heart and the house is also supportive for a relationship. This can be an intimate relationship, a close relationship. It can be a family. That would be the strongest interpretation. But with the clouds and coffin on the other side, we have the coffin, which is the ending card, and we have some challenges that come with the clouds. So this is someone who wants to end something. Maybe they think that this location or the place or the space that you share, and it can be a metaphorical space, by the way, that it needs to end. There can also be some tensions here and possibly a need for a time apart. With the clouds, which is a card of thoughts, I feel this person might want a bit more privacy. They might want some time out. And they also want to get some space for themselves. And this said, I feel they think well of the relationship. Like the anchor is about staying and sticking with something. So it seems that they want the relationship, but maybe they're going through a phase and they want to take time out and they want to step back a little bit for some privacy. Every so often we need to find ourselves a little bit. And that's what they could be going through. I do think that as it stands so far from this line, this is the likely interpretation because yes, the coffin is at the end of the line and it comes after what we see here, but the anchor is also pretty strong. So I think that the best way to combine the cards is to suggest that this person is just having some issues or some thoughts to themselves and they want to take a step back. Now, to look at this from the other angle as an ending, we can also read that into the line where, in this sense, they might feel that the relationship is a bit restrictive. The anchor can feel restrictive in relationships. And the house is also pretty conservative in relationships, because it's associated with boundaries, home and family, and the routine, the discipline that comes with all of that. And so when it comes to love and feelings, it can feel a bit oppressive. It can feel a bit stifling. And with the challenging clouds and coffin, this is what could be coming out from these other cards. So the challenging cards bring out the more challenging aspects of the other cards. So that's also how we can read the line. This person might feel that they need space. They can feel that the relationship is a bit, stifling and they need a breather. Yes, this can mean that they want to end the relationship as well, but I want to hold off on this until I see other cards because, again, the anchor and heart and house are really good for a relationship on their own. It's just that with the clouds and coffin, there's a slightly different influence at play, and it can go in a couple of different ways. So as it stands, I feel maybe they're feeling a bit oppressed, a bit stifled, and they need a bit of a breather, a bit of room to, for some space for themselves. Let's move on to Titania's fortune cards and see what else is added to these ideas. Dealing out another 5 cards. Interesting. So these cards are right on the relationship element. This is as clear as it can get with Lenormand. We have the man and woman and the heart and dog. So, okay. So I think this person wants a friendship and not a love relationship. It's a powerful set of cards for a relationship, yes, but 2 things. First, the dog and heart, and then the fox. So the dog and heart is a combination that points to a friendship expressly as opposed to a love relationship. So if we had the ring instead, it would have been a love relationship. With the dog, the cards favor a friendship. That's 1. And 2, the fox is a bit half-hearted. The fox is tricky. It is not 100% transparent. And so when I see it with these cards, I feel this person is not really committed for a love or a long-term relationship. I think they're more committed for a friendship. And in this sense, I think they would be a really good friend. It doesn't necessarily detract from that. But the line is really clear. Very clear in terms of the cards. This is about a friendship and not so much a love relationship. So I don't know where you stand relative to this. Maybe some of you want a love relationship and this can be disappointing to them, or perhaps they don't and this is reassuring to them. So let me know which group you fall into. But when it comes to how this person feels, which is the focus of the question, I think they prefer to keep it a bit lighter. And this works well with the heavier cards that we saw in the top line. I think this person needs definitely a bit of space, and they prefer a friendship in the relationship. Now, I have to say that the cards can apply in another context as well. The fox is sometimes associated with the job, and the dog can represent a colleague, and the house can represent the team on the job. So in this sense, this person likes you, but they're also self-interested, and they want to do what serves them. So I want you to be aware of that. At the same time, I think you should manage the relationship with them calmly. And in the context of work, for example, the clouds and coffin in the top line, they can be tricky. They can point to issues going on the job. It can point to layoffs and endings and things like that. And maybe not so much restructurings, but like a thinning of the workforce could be happening. But in this case, I think you're pretty protected because we have the anchor at the outset and we have the heart next to the house. But this could be an issue that is going on. Now, when it comes to how they feel about you, I think they feel that you'll stick around. They might have some doubts. I can't dismiss that because of the clouds, but I think I think you could be more or less on a secure footing in such a context. I want to hold off before I close this idea off until the last line, because the coffin and fox can be a bit tricky, and the clouds and dog as well, although the house and the heart and these cards are supportive. But again, when it comes to a personal relationship, which I feel is the strongest interpretation of the cards and the most well aligned with these cards, I think this person prefers a friendship over a love relationship, and they feel that the relationship is a bit oppressive and they need a bit of space. So that is really, really clear. Let's move on to the Mystical Lenormand deck and see what else we get in here. It's an additional layer. Okay, these are some brighter cards, but again, a strong message of a friendship. We have the Anchor again, we have the Dog again, and the rest of the cards are really bright. So I feel this is a good set of cards for a connection in general. The Anchor twice, the House in the middle, the Dog twice with a bright card here and a bright card there. I think that, you know, they are genuine about their relationship, but I don't think they want a love relationship. To me, that is pretty clear. There is a new beginning that can open up here. The Child is a lovely card in all senses, really. And what I feel this does is a second chance and also trust and openness. The Sun is a very bright card, and the Key is also a very bright card. So this is a very good set of cards for a relationship. It's just that it's not a love and intimate relationship, but as a friendship, it is very supportive. It is very bright. The Sun and Key is a lot of trust, and there's a lot of support. And I also think that this is a wonderful new chapter that can open up for you in the relationship. And I want to say that I feel they feel really genuine about this, and they don't want hard feelings. They want like some kind of lightness, you know, that comes through. They want to clarify, you know, their thoughts, their mind, and they want to, yes, move on from the current chapter, but they also want to open up into this new friendship, which I feel they are genuine about. So this is a very hopeful line and a very bright set of cards that come through. And the anchor on either side of the man, and the Heart and the Child with the woman, you know, the cards that surround the People cards here are very bright. And so it's another affirmation of their intention to remain supportive and to stick with their relationship, just not as a love relationship. And this is also a very bright card. House, Heart, Dog, a close friend, a trustworthy friend, good times together. The Clouds, Dog, and Sun is also lovely because the Sun really clarifies the confusion and the cloudiness that is associated with the clouds. So here I think there's going to be some honesty that comes through, although the Fox is tricky. But we do have the Key on the other side of the Fox. So this, the challenges that come through the Coffin and Fox and also the Clouds can be resolved. The Coffin and Fox can mean that this person opens up. So the Fox and Coffin are both reserved, closed off cards, and the Fox it tends to be silent. It's not someone who's transparent. But with the Key and the brightness of the other cards, I feel that they can open up and be honest about how they feel. And I think what would be helpful here is that you signal in one way or another that you're willing to hear their thoughts, that you're willing to hear their you know, how they feel about the relationship. And I think that will really open up a new avenue of trust and a new chapter in the relationship. And I think they are genuine about how they feel about you, that they sincerely care and they sincerely want to maintain a relationship and a friendship. if the backdrop is a change from a love relationship. So very supportive for friendships. Now, when it comes to other contexts like work, it was my suspicion, like I said, that you were going to be fine, even if there are some issues or they feel like some doubts. I think these are very clearly and strongly resolved through the bottom line. And also, there can be some new opportunities that come your way where I feel that they feel that you've got what it takes to embrace a different project or something better or a different set of responsibilities. For example, this can come through here, you know, where you leave one situation in your work or your business and you move into a different one because it's a new opportunity and they feel that you're up for it and they want you for it. So really the bottom line is a set of cards that delivers clarity in the face of what seems to be a bit of confusion and closedness, let's say, you know, this cloud's coffin here, this idea of being closed off. The bottom line sort of frees this energy into the open, and there is a release and a sense of clarity and relief that comes with that, where there is an opportunity to express and to be genuine and to be understood. So this release, I feel, opens up a new chapter and sort of changes the relationship into a strong friendship. And there's also clarity and a new level of trust that can come through. So I think this is really bright. And when it comes to other contexts, the Sun and Key is very much about an opportunity to shine, to do well, and to succeed, you know. So there is a strong sense of appreciation here. I think this is someone, they feel you are on the job and other such, you know, contexts that you are capable of this. They want you for it. They think you've got what it takes. And when it comes to other relationships and friendships, you know, there's a strong bond here and there is genuineness and sincerity and a desire to clarify and to reposition the relationship in a different way, but also in a way that maintains and renews a lot of trust. So I think there are loving, kind, and sincere feelings towards you. There is a need for a bit of a space here, but once this is understood and there's understanding from both sides, I think this really opens up an opportunity for a new phase in the relationship. And I think they want that, and they want you to know that they care, that they genuinely care. You know, they just have different thoughts a little bit for their life and their, you know, their situation. So I would say a beautiful set of cards that very much emphasizes the relationship very clearly. Let me know how this played out for you. I'm really interested in how you saw this and how you adapted it with to your situation. So leave me your thoughts and comments. And if you're interested in Lenormand, or this amazing deck that always speaks so clearly, you might know that I am one of the few people who offers an end-to-end master program for this method. I've got all the links for you in the description box. I encourage you to explore what I offer. I also have a whole lot of other resources for this. And of course, I do offer private readings if that's what you're interested in. I have a whole separate menu for that. So do have a look through the links. And until our next time together, as always, thank you so much for tuning in here. And I'm looking forward to our next one together. And until then, take very good care of yourself.